the Mariners season isn't quite over yet. Scott Servais is out.
He gone.
Gone. Mariners are trying to do something to kind of bring a spark back and maybe revive our chance at a playoff spot. Got plenty to talk about on this episode. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Sogcast. I'm Patrick.
I'm Matt.
And I'm Garrett.
First of all, breaking news. Scott, 9 years, Seattle Mariners manager, broke the playoff drought. He is no longer with the team.
He has been relieved of his managerial duties.
That's right, and he was a hand-picked guy. Our baseball of president operations, Dipoto. He was handpicked by Dipoto and had no managerial experience before that, and has been here for 9 years. And I mean, good for him for keeping that job for so long. He was into it for a long time and did a good job for a long time, honestly. But this last year, I've been saying it all year, he's kind of been a lame duck manager. He's been hired in 3-year increments, extensions, and this is the 9th year where, I think he's just over it. He was just doing all of the analytics department work, all the stuff that they give him on paper. He's like, okay, you want me to do this? I'll do that. We've harped on him for having no feel. The Mariners were in a complete free fall, so we had to do something. And Scott Servais and our hitting coach,
Jared DeHart,
the guy we didn't know his name last week.
Well, I know it now.
Yep, he gone too. So Edgar Martinez is stepping in as the hitting coach. Yeah, again. And I mentioned earlier in the year as well, get some former Mariner guys in there to talk hitting with the guys, not necessarily work on their swing so much as tell them how to approach an at-bat. And I feel like we've kind of done that. Dan Wilson is stepping in as our new manager. We'll see how that goes. But, I mean, what do you guys think about Scott Servais' tenure and release here?
I think maybe one day he probably will go into the Mariners Hall of Fame. I think just due to the longevity, he is the second winningest manager in franchise history, and he broke the playoff drought. I don't think it's going to be anytime soon. It's going to be, I would say, easily 5 to 10 years, leaning closer to 10 years. But I do think eventually he might find himself there.
Yeah, we'll see how it feels in 10 years.
I can see that.
That being said, he needed to go. And don't get us wrong, it was not all Scott's fault. This game, the team was not losing only because of Scott. There was so many things going wrong, but Scott played a role in it, and it's easiest to scapegoat the manager. Not saying he, didn't deserve all the criticism or whatever. He definitely did. I'm happy that he's gone. I wish him the best and whatever, but we needed changes. We needed a spark. We just needed to do something different. We were just spinning our tires in sand and just sinking and sinking and sinking. So, I thank him for his time, for helping end the drought, but even that was, 2 years ago. And
that was high times. And, I mean, he did a great job. We were calling for him to get Manager of the Year that year. The year before that, we had a great year in late games. He was making great decisions, making good, having a feel for the game, and his heart was in it. His heart hasn't been in it. He seems over the hill, and just I don't know, that Scott Servais face, I couldn't listen to post-game interviews. I just stopped listening to Scott Servais because nothing he said was valuable to me. We already see what's happening, and he wasn't giving us the details that we want to hear from those blown decisions. And it didn't matter what he said at some point. And I'm not surprised that he was fired, like I said, because we're in a free fall. But if the Mariners could hit the ball better, or we built a better team in the offseason, if we hired Justin Turner and Randy Arozarena in the offseason instead of at the deadline. It seems like the Mariners never approach the offseason the way they should and reload then and get a consistent thing going. And they try to upgrade at the deadline, but it's never enough. It's always just enough to give us hope, like we've been saying, and string us along. And now we got late 90s Mariners guys stepping in to give us that extra boost. And I feel both ways about it. I feel good about it, but like they keep running us dry of our like hope. It seems just like another facade that they're throwing at us. But it is changing the energy. We won tonight.
Hey.
On Friday night. It was an extra innings walk-off win. Dan Wilson's first game as Mariners manager.
Dan Wilson undefeated.
Mariners Hall of Famer.
Yep.
Yeah. There's a few things I wanted to talk about regarding the management stuff. Do y'all think it's odd that we went straight to Dan Wilson instead of offering the job to Negron or Acta or anyone who's been with this team? I mean, they said they wanted a new voice, and I totally get that. Maybe Acta and Negron they don't see them as a new voice. They've been with Scott for so long that they're just going to tell them more of the same, do more of the same thing. And they're like, let's get a guy in here who is actually going to shake things up, who has a less of a bias about things. But, I mean, equally little managerial experience that Scott had when he joined the team, too.
I mean, Negron at least managed in AAA for a while before stepping up to be the first base coach for the Mariners. He was managing down there for a few years, and he worked with a lot of the players who are up here now that went through there. George Kirby, Logan Gilbert, a lot of guys that went through there were through Negron, and he has a good relationship with all of these guys, and I'm sure he's going through it with them because he's still young, played in the league. He's still close to the game, but getting someone a little bit more removed from the game that's been looking at it from the outside kind of makes sense to me rather than just going to the next man up on the field because of the way things have been going.
In a way, it does seem to make a little bit of sense like that.
Either way would be good for me, but like I like the one step removed guy that's been looking at it from the top down instead of in it.
Yeah, the weird part is that they wouldn't go out and like interview other managers. Or look elsewhere, you know? They're going to go right to Dan, and that's totally fine for an interim position. But they didn't say it's an interim position. They want him to be the guy.
Yeah.
And that's the weirdest thing is that it's not an end-of-the-year thing. Like, for example, with Edgar Martinez's hiring, it says at least for the remainder of the season. Mm-hmm. Dan Wilson is the manager going forward.
And Dipoto made that clear. I heard him talking in an interview. He made it clear that he's not an interim manager, but I don't know. It's hard to find a manager. It's an emergency situation.
No, I know
the
that.
Mariners.
That's what I'm saying about the whole interim thing. You can say Dan Wilson's going to be the manager for the remainder of the season, and then in the offseason you do interviews. And if Dan Wilson interviews and they still think he's the guy, he comes back and he's the manager again. But that's not what they did, and that seems strange to me.
Yeah, I think it would be smart to keep it open at the end of the season.
Yeah, so I don't know. We'll see about that. Also, Dan Wilson is one of the most beloved, well-respected guys around. Yes. So it's like, okay, sick. I mean, get a guy in there that the players are going to admire, listen to, take seriously. It's a big difference from probably a guy that they can't take seriously at all. I think Scott Servais.
Dan Wilson knows the game in and out better than Scott Servais probably. They're both catchers, but I think Dan Wilson's career proves what he's capable of, that the situations he was in with the Mariners and how well he worked with every pitcher. Like, he doesn't have to do much on the pitching side, obviously, but like I respect Dan Wilson on a level that Scott Servais has never reached for me, you know. And all through Scott Servais's career here, there's been respectful moments, but also just like, I don't know. You look at his face and it's not Dan Wilson's face. Like there's a different prestige level to Dan that we haven't seen in a while, and I hope that it turns out well. It's starting off well. It's riding the ship, man.
Yeah, I do agree, though. I did think it was weird that the Dan hiring did come out of nowhere, because you think if it would go to anyone, I was definitely thinking it was going to Negron.
It seems like it.
He's coached with the Rainiers. He's been a first base coach for the Mariners. He's been with the organization.
He's filled in when Scott's on leave for whatever it was. You know, he'll miss a game or two, and Negron's in there.
Yeah, and I totally thought that if Scott got fired... also, I was not expecting it to happen during the season.
I wasn't either.
Even with the free fall and everything, you know, there's 32, 30-something games left in the season. And to fire your manager like that, it was definitely a little out of left field. I see why they did it. I'm happy they did it. But the whole thing, kind of like the Ty France thing, kind of like no buildup. It just like, yeah, the rumblings were there.
The buildup was that I've been saying that shit for too long. And I didn't bat an eye when that happened. This one was surprising to me, though.
It was.
I mean, I've been laying it out a little bit. I've been asking the question a little bit more conspiratorially. Obviously, we didn't want him here next year, but I did ask the question, like, will he make it through this year, earlier this year? And we kind of were like dancing around it.
Why? Why would you get rid of your manager with 30 games left?
This is why. I'm pretty sure it was like it'd have to take a catastrophic downturn to be that way, and it's here. We're here.
It happened.
Here we are. We're back at 500 Mariners baseball. We're 2-8 in our last 10 games. We're at least we went over 500 and not under again. Let's see. We went over 500 on Thursday, April 25th. We were 13-12 after 25 games, and until Wednesday, August 20th. When we returned to 500, like 62-62, like that's not good. We're hitting worse than we did in the second half than we did in the first half so far. I looked at our second half stats; they're worse. We did get some good bats in here, and our lineup can be more stable, especially when JP gets back. Leo Rivas has been really good for us recently. Just got to point out. Leo has been dynamic and clutch.
Walk off win tonight. Walk off single on a 3-2 count.
What's his number?
Oh God, it's something ugly. It's like 76,
67,
67, something.
76.
We have some crazy numbers on our team.
It's crazy. The whole infield is like 2, 7. Normal numbers, and then 76.
It looks so awkward out there.
It's funny.
We were having a conversation about how ugly a lot of the Mariners' numbers are.
George Kirby's 68.
Especially our pitching staff. I think that as much as Scott has been the problem, ugly numbers, I think,
it's
are
a curse,
also.
Dude.
We've got our closer out there wearing 75, like some spring training reject. Like get better numbers.
Yeah, they're all wearing numbers of dudes in spring training they get that are on the like invitee roster. You know, they're like, no, I'll keep it. 56 is good for me. Like, what the hell? Logan Gilbert's wearing 36. Like, it's a pretty unique number, but it's working for him at least.
There's like that expression, and obviously it doesn't like it's not 100% true. But there's the saying like you don't want your two numbers to equal over 10. Because it looks bad and it's like a spring training thing. So if you're out there with like number 38, that doesn't look very good. Or 76. And the more it is over 10, the less.
I mean, 63 and 64 are 9 and 10 if you add them up. And those numbers suck.
That is true. There's some wiggle room. But yeah, but there's just kind of the fun expression of like you don't want your two digits to equal over 10.
I've never heard that. But
yeah. It's like a spring training thing, too, because, like, you know, a lot of guys get those ugly numbers.
Then you know who's who.
Yeah.
So, 87.
Damn it. I'm not making the team this year.
Well, our high point was mid-June there. We know that. Right around Father's Day. It was Tuesday, June 18th. 44-32. 12 games over 500. We were 10-plus games up in the AL West. We have switched places with the Houston Astros since then. They're 10 games over 500 now, and we are 1 game over 500. So hopefully we're turning things around. Tonight's win did feel like it could be a big turning point, but they have to prove it, man.
Oh, yeah.
Mitch Haniger's been all right. Polanco's been pretty good. The way they're performing, as long as everyone else can do what they're doing. I mean, Luke Raley's been really good recently. Leo Rivas has been really good, but we have other guys struggling like Rojas, who's going to play a lot, and like still he's not been good for the last month. He's sitting like 0.97 in the last week. Canzone has not had a breakout. He's been hurt a couple times and hasn't had a breakout moment. Like,
and Randy's struggling. He came in a little bit hot for us, and he's just
I still trust he can do it.
Oh, I do too, but he's not performing right now.
No, he's not. Justin Turner's not doing great either. Randy's, only hit 1 homer for us. Turner hit that giant grand slam. I don't know if he's hit another homer, but, like, he can hit. Like tonight, he had a clutch single too. We can trust those guys more so than we can trust Garver, who I almost forgot is still on our roster. He's awful. So he's sitting on our bench doing nothing. We still have some low points, but like overall our team is looking better, and I can't wait to see the consistency in our lineup because I know Dan's going to correct that.
That's a big one. Going forward, I'm going to watch these games closely with Dan as our manager, and I want to see the same lineup from today as tomorrow and the next day. One or two changes, sure. Sub in players, but,
Rayleigh and Turner. Obviously, Rayleigh's going to play some right field, some first base. They can switch out the DH. I liked to see that Haniger was in the DH role tonight because he knows Rayleigh plays a better right field. We ended up having Turner come in pinch hit late. Pretty clutch.
I
like that they could
right
move that
today,
around a little bit.
Yeah, Canzone played right today.
Yeah, Rayleigh ended up out there when Turner came in because Turner went to first and Rayleigh went to right. So it's a nice shift that where they can have that. Rayleigh has that flexibility with Turner as a platoon.
It's nice to have that in our roster.
Yeah, it's great because those guys are both.
But for the most part, I want to see a consistent lineup.
Weapons. Yeah, me too.
Yeah, and I will throw a fit if I see one more time a player go 3 for 3 in a game and get pinch hit for in the 8th inning.
That's not going to happen.
That is
anymore.
not baseball knowledge.
Dan's not going to do that.
No.
We saw him pitch Munoz in a tie game tonight.
Yes.
5-5 game, late comeback. Munoz comes in to get us to the point where we can take the lead.
But
Snyder
Dan,
comes
what if
in
we
and
don't
shuts
score
it
any
down.
runs and we go into extras? Well, then I'll bring in Colin Snyder. What? What kind of decision is this?
You can do that?
You can do that?
Yo, Colin Snyder has been so fucking good.
Yes.
You know, remember when Sadler was doing it quietly a few
Yeah.
years ago? Snyder's that guy. I think today he's probably got himself under a 1 ERA. He was at like a 1.01, and after tonight, it's probably a 1 or less. And he has been so good for us, and he's been pitching for like about a month now. 26 innings, 27 innings, something like that. 1 ERA, insanely good.
Yeah,
like,
man. We saw Spire back today.
Yeah, we did because Jimmy Garcia had to go on the IL, unfortunately.
Oh, I actually missed that.
Yeah, I just heard that. So, yeah, we saw Spire back. It's good because our boy Saucedo has been struggling, man.
He has been. Our bullpen has been kind of struggling as a whole recently. I saw like the Mariners are the 4th worst in inherited runners scored from our bullpen. So that means like our bullpen comes in, a reliever comes in with runners already on. We are 4th worst in those runners eventually scoring off of the new reliever.
Damn.
Yeah. I was pretty surprised by that. I didn't think it was that bad, but I guess it kind of adds up. By the way, Snyder's ERA on the season is now 0.98.
Yes,
That is
I knew
crazy.
It. Yeah,
Good
hell
job,
yeah.
Snyder.
He's so good, man. So he's been great while Thornton hasn't been great recently. He had a great start to the season. He was really good and locked down for a long time, but maybe he doesn't have the gas towards the end of the season here. He kind of threw a lot of bullets early. Hopefully he can turn it around and be effective, but Voth has been a little bit better. We do have some guys back there doing it. And I would just want to say our starting pitching is the best. Like you were saying, we have the best team ERA. You said that last week? Yeah, and we still do. All of our starting pitchers had a under 3.5 ERA until tonight where Luis Castillo gave up 3 bombs, and he's over it. He's at 3.66 now, but
He also had 9 strikeouts.
he did.
And only gave up 6 hits. It's just 3 of them were home runs, and 2 of them were 2-run shots.
This is his biggest problem. We've talked about
Yeah.
it. The multi-homer games are his downfall. Like, yeah, he can have 9 strikeouts, but give up 2 or 3 homers and still, like, lose, you know. But, I don't know. That's just the way he pitches.
I want to talk about how we dug ourselves out of that hole today. When we're down 5-1 and we got 6 base hits in a row.
That was
This is how you get it done.
6 singles.
You can even look at the first half of this game. So many people flying out to the warning track.
Yep.
And you're like, oh, doesn't have enough juice on it. That's a fly out. Oh, there it is again. Okay, and that inning, great. Then in the second half of the game, people just start roping singles. Come on, this is how we do it. This is how you play baseball. We know this is not a hitter-friendly park in the sense that you're not going to hit a lot of home runs. Nothing's stopping you from getting 6 base hits in a row. Can we just do that constantly, please?
Rope a single through the infield or a seeing eye bloop hit is great, man. The stringing all those together builds momentum, and 6 singles scores runs, dude. There's only 3 bases out there to occupy. That means if you have 6 singles in a row, you've scored a couple. So that's great to see that the Mariners are willing to just adjust to the pitch and hit it, put the barrel on it and hit it hard through the infield.
And that 6 base hits in a row was wild. It was so crazy to watch because you're like, well, first they were so hit starved. I think we had like 3 hits going into the 8th, and we got a single, and you and I were watching the game together, and we're like, oh my God, they got a hit. And then the next guy got a hit.
What is happening?
And we're like, what? Is this real life? And then another and another and another 6
We pinch hit Turner in there. Rojas gets a hit. Rivas gets a hit. Rayleigh gets a hit. And then they change pitchers.
Yeah, these hits came off of that
submarine
style pitcher.
Tyler Rogers.
Yeah.
We faced both Taylor and Tyler Rogers, the twins who are both on the same team in the same bullpen for the Giants. We faced both of them today, I think. Or maybe, let me see. I'm right here. I know we faced Tyler. Yeah, we faced Taylor and Tyler Rogers today. And Tyler Rogers, the submariner who's scraping knuckles on the ground. He's a tough pitcher. We scored 4 runs off of him. That's awesome, dude. That's a tough thing to do. And the Mariners had the wherewithal to get the bat on the ball and get it done, man.
I guess. We were watching the game, and I was
Miracle.
like, this is the arm slot that they can see
a guy throwing over the top, never seen it before in my life. Some guy knuckles scraping, they're like, yeah, I'm on top of this one.
This is actually kind of an epiphany moment for me right now. The batter's eye. Pitchers who throw over the top have that angle behind them where they can't pick up, it's a weird depth perception thing. If the ball's coming from below the waist, you're not looking up at that angle above the pitcher's head, and you see the ball better because it's not coming from a weird fucking backdrop. Dude, I don't know. Maybe I'm trying to put 2 and 2 together. If next year that wall is not fixed next year, I'm gonna be goddamn furious, dude. The Mariners need to be able to hit at home.
I think a lot of people want that wall fixed.
Yes.
Another interesting thing about tonight's win is the 6 hits in a row. Great defense again tonight. Battling back in the 10th. To score, get the winning run, not
Dylan Moore stealing third base.
Third
was huge.
Giant balls. Just fucking sliding them all over third base.
No, that was he had a great break and everything. A huge jump and just really jumped all over it.
He'd seen that pitcher go through his motion a few times, and he knew he took that opportunity and made the best. They tried to challenge it, but that was just a Hail Mary challenge.
Yeah, for, hoping that his hand came off the base for a second or something, but it didn't. A really fun win. I like that the Mariners didn't give up. And one thing that bothered me, though, and they did rectify it in the second half of the game, but even still, the Mariners walked 8 times tonight. That is a lot of free base runners. And up until the 8th inning, what didn't happen by walks, it happened by singles, the Mariners could not get any of those runs in. The only run we had, or runners in, the only run we had was a Luke Rayleigh solo shot.
Yeah, I think that was the second hit we had. I think it was 5 walks and 1 hit to that point.
Yeah, and it's just, we have to capitalize on that. When we're getting free base runners, we have to get them in. Obviously, you're not going to get them in 100% of the time. But, I mean, even the first, second inning, hit batter, walk, bases loaded, can't score them.
Mariners special.
Yeah, and they're giving you free base runners on a silver platter, and we just couldn't get them in. So
we just closed the cloche on it. No, thank you. I'm full.
Yeah.
No. Eat these free samples.
We're good.
We're good.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough.
Just take them and put them in your pockets or something.
Yeah, save it for later.
This game showed that the Mariners still have life.
Yes.
I'm very happy. Like, this is a new starting point. We haven't talked about the last week very much, but like
Because it's hard.
Yeah, there was
it's
nothing
been
to
bad.
talk about.
I mean, I want to kind of talk about like Paul Skeens and Logan Gilbert was a crazy good pitching matchup. Obviously, we lost that battle. The Mariners couldn't hit for shit. Bailey Falter also destroyed us, and then we ended up getting all over one of their pitchers and taking one of the three in the Pirates series. Got swept by the Dodgers in Dodger Stadium. What else do you expect? Except for we got shut out 3-0 first game. Gavin Stone, 7 innings, 10 Ks, 2 hits. We got absolutely destroyed.
Patrick was saying in his deep heart of hearts, he thought that we could go to Dodger Stadium and sweep the Dodgers.
Oh my god!
And I was like, no shot, dude. We're gonna get 2 out of 3.
That's
though. Not even close.
No. And
super wishful thinking.
But what? Two of those games were winnable, and our bullpen. You're good. And our bullpen blew it. The 2 of those games were winnable games.
It's true.
And I can't remember if it was Stone, but one pitcher for the Dodgers, they just literally picked up some guy. They were like, "Hey, do you want to pitch against the Mariners today?" He's like, "Yeah, I'll probably do a good job." He set his career high for strikeouts in 3 innings.
Damn, was it Gavin Stone? He's had a pretty decent season. I don't think so. That was the first game we got shut out 3-0.
I think this was game 2.
Okay.
But
Let me get that up real quick.
His career high of strikeouts was 9. And with 1 out in the 4th inning, he had 10 strikeouts.
Are you serious?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, he set his career high in.
Thank God I was at the fair. I was out at the Renaissance Fair partying and walking 20 miles. I swear to God, my feet still hurt. But it was a great time out there. I'm glad I wasn't watching or listening to that game. Oof. But yeah, Gavin Stone. So game 2, because the third game was Jack Flaherty versus Logan Gilbert, and Gilbert couldn't do shit. So it's Jay Kelly.
I think that's who it was.
Kelly.
Joe Kelly. He's 1-0 with a 4.68 ERA. But yeah, I don't know, man. Dodgers won 6-3 that day. Munoz had the loss.
Is it
that
Joe
was the
Kelly?
day we had the early lead.
Joe Kelly wouldn't have been the starter. He might have been the winning pitcher.
Oh,
but
yeah,
he wasn't the starter.
Okay, box score.
He
I
was-
got this.
I thought they traded him for a little. Is he back on the Dodgers?
He is on the Dodgers.
Oh, you're Walker
Oh, yeah?
Buehler? No.
Then
That
it
wasn't-
was Stone.
Yeah, it had
It
to have been
was.
Stone.
Stone
Gavin Stone.
set his career high
10 Ks.
in 4 innings.
Oh my God. He went 7 shutout. So he had all his strikeouts super early.
Yeah, I guess.
Holy shit.
Just carved us up.
Anyway, yeah, we got destroyed by the Dodgers 3-0, 6-3, 8-4. We had no shot. We got beat by 3+ runs every game.
That team's crazy.
Otani, Freeman,
Walk-off grand slam today.
Betts. They even have Tommy Edman. Walk-off grand slam. Ooh.
Otani.
Ooh.
Otani hit a walk-off grand slam to join the 40-40 club on the season.
Bow down.
Yeah, dude. What?
The dude was sitting at 39 homers, 39 stolen bases when he stole second against us.
Yeah.
So, hell yeah. Shohei Ohtani is an absolute god.
He's really fun. I was kind of bummed, though. Now that he's not on the Angels, I don't get to see him that often anymore. I'd always love going to Angels games just because you get to see Shohei Ohtani.
Well, let's go to L.A. and see him in Dodger Stadium next year, man. Let's take a trip. I want to go see Ohtani as much as possible, and I want to go to Dodger Stadium.
It's a cool stadium.
I would love to go.
It is the largest MLB stadium for capacity.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've heard every seat in the house is good, too. It's huge capacity, and it has a nice low angle where
Yeah.
everything, you're not looking at people's heads. Every seat you can see,
We'll show up and pop their beach balls, and half the fans will love us. The other half will be like, fucking Mariners fans.
I brought a pen so I can pop
Yeah.
this beach ball.
All the real fans are going to be like, thank you.
We should pod from the bleachers.
Would be
Here it
fun.
comes.
Yeah, we'll take a pod trip. Dodger Stadium's definitely a place I want to go. I'm going to Fenway next summer for sure, so that's my number one priority. And, yeah. Where are you going next? What's your next stadium, Patrick? I know
actually,
you've been to a few.
I actually, I've kind of kicked around the idea, just like briefly with my buddy Andrew in Boston. I was kind of thinking of going to Fenway next year.
Hey, let's go next summer.
And then I really, really want to watch the Mariners play in Toronto from the hotel room, because in Toronto Blue Jay Stadium, your hotel room looks at the field.
If the roof is open.
No, it's part of the stadium.
Oh, it's inside?
It's part of the stadium. You book your hotel, and you are in your hotel room, and you just watch the game.
That's nuts.
It's really crazy, and I
Okay.
really want to experience that.
All right.
I'm leaning towards that. Those would be some big trips for me.
You were
but-
just at Petco for Blink 182. That's pretty cool.
yeah, beautiful stadium there too. Wasn't
Yeah,
there
looks-
for baseball though.
Looks beautiful. Yeah, I'd go to Fenway for a baseball game and or a concert. That'd be cool. But anyway,
So what are we expecting from the Mariners? Are we expecting them to fight all the way to try and still get a playoff spot?
yeah,
Are we?
Yeah, the players want it for sure, and I mean, they're trying to do what they can to change the energy. The front office, at least.
Yeah.
The players want it. There's no way they don't.
Yeah.
How far out are we? We're 6.5 out of the wild card.
I'm
But
not
we're-
even focused on the wild
Yeah,
card because
that's
yeah,
out of reach.
We're closer to Houston right now at 4.5. Houston's been hot, but the Mariners can turn this ship around. And
it's not over till it's over.
We've seen them surge.
The Astros lost today.
They did. We won on a day the Astros lost. It's been
Crazy.
a while. 4.5 games back of the Houston Astros. That's within reach. We have
Need to do that 4.5 more times and we're back in it.
33 games left, boys.
I mean, this is the home.
That's totally within reach. That's it, with the way our pitching is. If our offense can get something together with Edgar and Dan at the helm, I mean, this is our last hope for any type of turnaround or surge. We're hitting like 206 in the second half so far. Something's got to give here. Something's got to go. I mean, Julio's struggling at the plate. But as long as there are enough performers on any given day, this game is winnable because of our pitching staff.
That's the whole kicker, though.
And there goes
you
my
need to
mic.
get your bats going all at once.
Yeah.
That's impossible for us.
We got to at least be running on like a 4-cylinder engine. We don't need a V6 or V8. We just need 4-cylinder with a turbo, little stolen base action, scoring from first on a double, that kind of stuff. Bunting for base hits, which is what we've done all year. We don't sack bunt a lot, but we bunt for base hits a lot.
Especially Robles. Robles lays one down for hits pretty frequently.
We should be a contact speed type team with guys who can hit bombs occasionally. You know, we have Cal, we have Turner who can do both things. We have Rayleigh who can hit a bomb anytime he's up. Haniger sometimes hits that bomb. Polanco sometimes does. But we should really be focusing on being a contact speed team first.
I completely agree with that. Have Cal that can hit 30 plus a year. Have Luke who can probably get maybe 25 out of them.
Yeah.
And have those we don't.
The
it's
home
okay.
runs will come.
They come when you just put good swings on the ball. Like
The amount of times I've heard the post-game interview where they're just like, I'm just trying to put my best swing on it. And
Yeah.
it just happened to go far this time, you know? And that's
Play that way.
Yeah, dude.
I-
That's the philosophy that you need to have.
You know what? I think the 6 singles in a row today was just as exciting as the back-to-back-to-back home runs the Mariners had about a month ago.
Easily.
Like,
Man. Amateur
I
hour.
know, my bad.
Again?
I'm not. It's a new phone.
Oh, yeah.
It's a new phone. I'm sorry.
Your old phone's still in that lake.
Yeah, my old phone's halfway to China by now in the bottomless Lake Borin. So sorry, it's silent now. My bad. Sorry, folks.
Well, I mean, what do we...
I like the idea of like a speed team
Contact.
and contact and focusing less on home runs.
Oh, yeah. We've struck out incrementally less every month of the season until this point. We've struck out the least every month and, still the least. So hopefully we keep going in that direction and striking out less and less, because that's the trend. I've seen it. I looked at it month by month, less and less strikeouts every month. So I think this is the turning point where we actually start hitting the ball at a league average rate and striking out at a league average rate.
And I'm just thinking, every game 1 through 162, they all matter exactly the same, whether it's some game in April or the end of the year. They all matter exactly the same. This last month of the season,
percentage
they matter a little bit more.
Yeah.
Like,
You need to say until you're mathematically eliminated.
well, yeah, then they don't matter. But
when that adrenaline kicks in, man,
Is it too little, too late?
it's close.
We're hitting our stride at the worst time to do it, I would say.
I mean, if it is not too little, too late.
It's not.
But it is getting close. We are getting really close to where 4.5 games is insurmountable.
I mean, we're turtling. At some point, we're going to have to shit.
Well, I mentioned earlier in the year how, it's good to be hot at the right time. And we've seen the Mariners get hot and then peter out at the end of September. But if we have a shit September and get hot, or a shit August, and get hot in September and we're hot at the end of September, that's a better formula than the what I just said, the opposite of that.
The
It's
vice
better
versa.
to be hot going into the playoffs, right? So,
Well,
if we
okay.
can surge going into the playoffs,
Okay, good point.
it's not out of reach. I think it's important to be there with that type of energy at the end, and we have just enough time for the new culture to kind of breed itself and get growing and be a dynamic force here in the next few weeks. And we'll see what happens. I mean, it's really a coin flip of whether they're going to get shit together or it's going to be more of the same. But it's all up to the players and the philosophy behind the new management.
Well, and look at what the Texas Rangers did last year. They didn't have a great regular season. They were battling. It was 3 ways battling for wild card division or third place with the Astros, Mariners, and Rangers. And the Rangers barely started to get hot right at the end of the season, made it to the playoffs, and then were hot throughout the whole entire playoffs. So, yeah, you're right. If there's a time to get hot, it's now. It's this final month of the season.
All right. I like this.
The door's still open.
It is. It's not too little, too late. If we were 8.5 back, maybe, but 4.5, and also we're gonna play the Astros again, right? Our season series
I think
done
we've
with them?
done. Yeah,
That's
they
right.
took the season series from us by 1 game, I think. But I was gonna say, this is the moment where the garage door is closing and you see it, but you have to run and slide underneath, and you get that adrenaline
Jump
kick,
the laser, boys.
right? Are you gonna make it? Or are you gonna get stuck under the door? Are you gonna not make it? Or is one person gonna make it? One get cut in half and everyone dies on the other side? You don't know. But this is that moment right now where you see that door start to move and you got to go. So, we'll see, man. We'll see what kind of energy they can get. I know the players have their own culture. I don't think Scott had the boys on his team. You know what I'm
Scott lost
saying?
the clubhouse.
He did not have the boys. And when Victor Robles came in, it was very obvious that he brought an energy to this team that was lacking. We have a lot more things going for us with Randy and Turner in the clubhouse. They've all been in the playoffs.
Yeah.
They've done it in the playoffs. Randy's done it better than almost anybody, or anybody in the playoffs has done it. Justin Turner's been there so many times.
Oh, yeah.
Victor Robles won the World Series.
Yeah,
So-
that is playoff experience
And
on
another
your
team
roster.
that had a rough beginning of the season and pushed in the end to make it. So
I-
we have all of the experience we need.
Yeah. I will defend Scott on this, though. I don't know how much Scott completely lost the locker room. Just for some stuff players have said, Robles was very public in saying that Scott made him feel incredibly welcomed as soon as he joined the team. And we truly don't know what goes on behind the scenes, but I think to me, it would probably be the vibe of when your boss is really cool and really nice and you like him, but he's just not good at his job, and it screws your job over.
Yeah.
And I think that was probably be the case. It's not that Scott was an asshole or just like, tore the people apart, but I think like they liked him as a person. They just didn't like the job he was doing. And there are players that have been more outspoken against him. Cal, not directly at Scott, but Cal has made his comments over the year.
I think also directed towards the analytics and front office
Yes.
decisions because he knows that he's being puppeted by them also. So Cal has been kind of he reaches and says things in a general way that you have to kind of read between the lines.
Boys, we do play the Astros again.
Yeah, okay.
When?
Hell yeah.
This is this year, right? I might be crazy. Looks like we end the season against series against Texas and then Houston and then Oakland.
I think that was last.
Is that last year?
Yeah, I feel like
No, 2024 schedule, man.
Okay, well, that's pretty similar to last year's, eh?
Well, they usually design the schedule that you end your season against division teams, which is why it's so weird that next year's schedule, I mean, this is way, way down the line, literally the end of next season, but we close out against like the Dodgers at home.
Oh, yeah.
At the end of the 2025 season.
That's a weird
We'll
one.
discuss that when it comes up in about 14 months. So we'll worry about that then. That's a little ahead of us right now.
Let's be
Yeah, we
18
do have
games
that.
up when we face the Dodgers, so we can just.
So that means that
3 games against the Astros in end of September there, yeah.
And I mean, all of that. So Texas, Houston, and A's to close out our season. Those games are going to be so important. And let's put ourselves now, starting today with this win. Let's have the Mariners have themselves in a better position that these are not all win or die.
These make or break games.
Yeah, like let's
Season ender.
seriously. Yeah.
Our remaining schedule is not as hard as some other teams are. Like we have an easier path. I've only heard. I haven't looked especially, but like other teams have had a. Well, yeah, we can look at ours. I'm saying I haven't looked at other teams' schedules, but I've heard that ours is easier schedule than theirs. So I mean, at least we have a little bit of leeway there to play better.
What's
win some
unfortunate
games.
What's unfortunate about that, though, is that the Mariners play significantly worse against shittier teams.
Yeah, you did say that, and it's true.
It is.
Y'all messed up the banners. We play the Rays and then the Angels.
that was my
They're
bad.
backwards, but we knocked them off and then we switched them around.
Whoops.
Well, either way, the Rays, the Angels, we got to get wins, man. Wins. The Mariners pitch like nobody's business. We got to go hit the ball.
Yeah, man.
We're at home against the Giants this weekend. Blake Snell is pitching against us tomorrow in
Hometown
our
hero.
stadium, where it's pitcher friendly. But we are playing during the day on Saturday and on Sunday.
Yeah, I saw it's like a 1:00 game on Saturday.
Yeah, double day weekend. So maybe there won't be that marine layer and balls will be flying out, you know?
Also, isn't it? It's Kirby versus Snell tomorrow, right?
I believe so. That's a good matchup.
That's gonna be a fun game to watch.
Then on Sunday, we got Robbie Ray pitching against us.
Mariners legend.
Got my tight pants on.
Robbie Ray.
He just rocked the White Sox. I tried to add him to my team early enough because Zach Eflin went on the IL.
Yeah.
Tried to add Robbie Ray and get him in, but it was already locked, and I was like, fuck. He absolutely murdered the White Sox. So I'm kind of worried he'll do that to us. But, I mean, he is comfortable pitching here, but I think the Mariners will have a little extra oomph against Robbie Ray. They want it a little bit more. Let's see what happens.
I mean, I'm sure though he probably has an axe to grind too. You're going against the team that just basically offloaded you in the offseason, which also was the right move. I do not wish Robbie Ray was still here.
I couldn't
But-
stand that
True,
guy.
he does have an axe to grind, I'm sure. But
and it was a very like unceremonious, like he was literally just gone. There was
Yeah.
none of the fanfare, even like with the Ty France thing, like the Mariners released a statement for Ty France, and then Ty France took like a week to like come to terms with it, and
Sure.
then he released a statement back. There was none of that for Robbie Ray, and rightfully so. It's not like he was here for a long time. He was here for what?
Yeah.
2 years?
It was an off
A year,
season,
2 years?
good riddance because he was injured and like whatever.
Yeah.
So it was quiet, and a lot of people, the last taste in their mouth was that home run, Jordan home run. So like, I get it. I think he's a better pitcher than the taste that's left in our mouth still, but like. We'll see what he does against us. We have a lot of right-handed batters that are really good against left-handed pitchers. He's a really good left-handed pitcher, so it's going to be, I don't know, head-to-head, power versus power. I think we do have a lot of good lefty hitters, so we're good. Brian Wu pitches against Robbie Ray, which is what I'm trying to get to. Brian Wu has been amazing, dude.
Yes.
He has a 2.12 ERA.
He can pitch more than 5 innings.
He definitely can.
But he can't pitch more than like 85 pitches.
Yeah, 86 pitches his last time out.
Like, and
Beautiful start,
and
though.
He's dealing, and it's so weird, and it's just him being young and coming up really quickly, and like his arm hasn't fully grasped in a full MLB schedule. But
his last 3 starts, 6.2, 7, 6.1.
Does it have his pitch count on
I
it,
don't
though?
have them right here, but I mean,
Because like they do cut him off. They cut him off before he even sniffs 100.
but he's being more efficient with his pitches.
I agree with that. Yes.
That's awesome.
He's been amazing, man. I dropped him off my fantasy team. Sorry to keep talking about my baseball fantasy team. Brian Woo's so fucking good. When he got injured last time, I was like, damn, he's too volatile. He won't come back and be that good again. They're gonna keep him on a pitch limit. He's come back and been awesome, dude.
Yeah.
I'm sad I dropped
Did we
him.
talk about how he's had,
But he's on the Mariners.
I think, 2 Tommy John surgeries already?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's on his I don't know. They repaired it well. It's working, but how long can that hold up? Hopefully they do a certain thing now where they do the thing but also anchor it in a new way so it's stronger. But once that breaks, man, I don't know. I don't think there's coming back from it. Like, you can't 3-time it. There's only been a couple guys that have gone through 3 and made it and still pitch.
Just make him a cyborg.
I mean,
Yeah, for real.
Shohei,
Why not?
Shohei has now had 2 Tommy Johns.
Damn.
Which is a bummer. But he hits so well, it doesn't even. I'm even forgetting that he's not a pitcher just because he hits so damn well. Or you're like, oh yeah, he also pitches.
It's going to be crazy to see him next year when he starts pitching again.
I can't wait, dude.
I'm so excited. I just hope he stays healthy. But
I'm glad I saw him pitch once way back in like 2018 in his rookie season. He was pitching for the Angels against the Mariners. I was watching from center field, like pretty good seats in center, like so I could see his pitch delivery and motion. It was unreal then, and he's just better and better, you know. He's worked his craft more and more, but he was dominant then. He was unreal.
Did you guys see?
And he wasn't hitting.
This isn't
that
Mariners.
game.
The catcher who's gonna catch against his own at bat.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
That's crazy.
What's his?
Jansen?
Yeah,
Danny
Danny
Jansen?
Jansen. He like pinch hit for Reese McGuire, or like got traded for Reese McGuire.
And there was a delay game.
He was at bat when the game got suspended.
Yeah.
It was Blue Jays versus Red Sox, and he got traded from the Blue Jays to the Red Sox.
To the Red Sox. He's on the Red Sox, yes.
Yeah.
Because I saw Alex Cora was the one that's like making the decision to have him catch his own at bat.
So someone's gonna have to pinch hit for him
Yes.
for his original at bat, and he's gonna be playing catcher.
Oh, he's not going to actually. Oh, he's going to be. Yeah.
He's going to be catching.
He can't catch
A glove and a bat.
Well, if he wasn't catching, that's so confusing. But yeah, I did
Yeah.
see that. He'll be the first player in history to be in a game on both teams on the roster
and like
chart.
face himself.
Yeah, yeah.
And like because of like the way the baseball stats are recorded, he was already credited with his official at bat, like being in the batter's box, like that bat counts.
So
for when the
his-
game got suspended. So
His pinch hitter can't hit a home run, and he gets the home run for it.
yeah, he gets the stat. He's like, well, that would have been me.
He's like, nice. He launched it.
I mean, hopefully, like buy him dinner or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. Be
That-
like, hey man, this is your home run.
That's gonna be kind of a fun spectacle, though. Like,
Yeah, that is crazy. I always thought Danny Jansen and Reese McGuire are kind of like the same guy, like on a baseball field at least. I know one of them doesn't get caught jerking off in a parking lot, but they kind of seem like the same guy, and it's crazy that they're like, I don't know.
Also, Reese McGuire
Get traded
from
for
here.
each other. Yeah, they're like Kent.
Yeah,
and
something
Kent,
like that,
yeah.
like Kent Meridian or something.
Kent Wood, Kent Ridge.
Kent something. Kent loves throwing.
Kent Wood, I think.
Wow.
One of them. Kent Ridge.
Kent Lake.
Whatever.
Where's Kent Lake? You know? So, I mean, we're happy with the move the Mariners have made. They've made us very disappointed. We've been very angry. We were very close to our breaking point. But this is also what the Mariners do, where just enough of the carrot that we're going to keep.
I saw a meme that was like a guy with a bunch of buckets looking at a cow that's super skinny, and it's like the cow is labeled 95 Mariners nostalgia, and the dude's rocking over there, and the cow is super skinny. Like they've milked it so much already that like, yeesh, how much are we going to get out of this?
It's going to be the anniversary of that 95 team, 30 years, and we're going to have Dan Wilson as our manager. We're going to have Edgar Martinez as our hitting coach. We're going to have Jamie Moyer as our pitching coach.
Don't be fooled, everybody. Don't be fooled.
Bringing Randy Johnson back. I mean,
Yeah. They're doing all the emotional things because they're trying to cover up all the bullshit things that have happened.
Yes, they're trying to get us to forget how shit it's been and get us to spend more money on 95 nostalgia.
Yep, they're going to try to sneak into the playoffs, get the revenue for having a playoff series, and then next year do the whole 95 nostalgia thing.
Resist spending your money on 95 nostalgia. Demand a product on the field.
Remember that it comes from the top down. It comes from the ownership who gives the front office, Jerry DePoto and Justin Hollander, the budget that they can't go out in the offseason and get the dudes they want, and then they don't do enough at the deadline. This has happened 2 years in a row. We're $60 million, $80 million under the luxury tax threshold where we have to pay that extra tax. There's so much room to go sign 2 more players that are legitimate hitters. We haven't done it, and it comes from the top down, man. Scott Servais was put in a tough spot. I'm sure he got tired of it and was just being told what to do and didn't give a fuck anymore. And too bad. I'm sorry, Scott, but hey, that's the way it is, and that's a shitty way to end. Learning through social media that you're not on the team, you're fired, and I don't know, it sucks. I think it is good though. Happy. You said we're happy, and I'm like, are we happy? I'm kind of happy.
I'm happy that there's a change, but I also really want to latch on to what Garrett said. And yeah, I agree. They're going to milk that 95 shit all year next year. And the thing is, it would be cool if they don't milk it every single year. It's like the one thing we hang our hat on. And don't get me wrong, every year on opening day, I watched the full inning of Edgar Martinez's double and Dave Niehouse's call, and I watch it in my car and I cry. And I'm happy. I do it on every opening day because baseball season is starting and I love the Magic. But they've just been pumping 95 for 30 years.
And when 2001 memorials come up, they do that too. And those are the 2 things. You're right. That's it. That's what they got.
And they don't even talk about 2001 that much because it was so embarrassing to tie technically the record for wins in a season, and then you get bumped out of the first round. Yeah. So 2001 doesn't even get the same play
they just get
that 95 does.
More individual highlights from that season rather than team accomplishment for sure.
And 95, and it's just bro, and there are some conspiracy theories that the move to hire Dan Wilson was just for next year to push that 95 nostalgia and all that stuff.
Do you think Dan's qualified?
I mean, it's hard to say because he has no experience at this level.
Scott didn't either.
Right. Well, yeah.
He's helped our minor league catchers here and there.
But I do think it's weird.
He's been watching the Mariners from very close, one step removed from that job for a while.
And I want to say I don't buy into the conspiracy theory.
I
that
love his
the
analysis post game when he's talking analysis. I
Yeah.
love his analysis about the decisions made and what guys are doing and what's happening. He's pretty honest, and I like what he's doing. When is Ryan Rowland-Smith getting a job with the team? We need
There
all
you
of our
go.
analysts to be on the team because those are the guys that can translate analytics to the players. Those are the guys who understand what they're doing because of those things and are able to translate them in baseball terms to the guys who are actually doing the thing. I think Ryan Rowland-Smith should have a role on this team. He should even be like on the hitting squad so he can like tell them how pitchers are going to attack them better. I don't know. I want those people on our team. Those are the people that need to be there and make us feel better. So even though it is 95 nostalgia stuff, I still feel like it's a good decision to have those people in the clubhouse.
Yeah,
They are Mariners. This is Mariner love stuff, and I like it. I love those guys.
I made the joke to Garrett today. Like, you think Mike Blowers is still sitting in the announcer's booth, pissed? Like, I don't get to coach. Edgar gets to coach again.
Well, Mike Blowers fell on a jog last year and
What a crazy fall
missed
that was.
some weeks of work for some reason. I don't know.
Honestly,
Maybe
it wasn't
that
weeks.
has
He missed
something
like
to do with
a
it.
chunk. He missed the majority of last season.
Just saying, there might be some decision making.
Be
like that.
careful when you're jogging, Blowers.
Yep.
Jesus.
Be careful out there. Wear better shoes. That was a very dangerous fall that you had.
You never know when there'll be just like a fist laying on the ground or whatever.
So, the Mariners have made changes. They have not thrown in the towel on the season. We were worried at the deadline that they weren't going to do anything and that they were going to throw in the towel and the season was over.
They did something.
They did. They got a Rosarina who was the best bat on the market.
I still
that was
love
one
Randy.
Of the, yeah.
Great decision.
That move was huge. Randy is not performing right now, but he'll come around. It's fine. Justin Turner didn't like the move at first, but it was the right move, and that veteran leadership, and like Matt said about, he's 39 years old. That shows how good he is, that he's still in the league at 39 years old.
Better than 75% of the hitters on our team right now,
Yeah.
honestly.
So
And JT Chargois. Don't leave out JT Chargois.
Hey, he's been nails, dude.
and Jimmy Garcia, who,
Yeah, he's been hit and miss and now on the IL, so that sucks. Hopefully he'll be healthy soon and come back ready to rock because he is really good in the back end. He's done it for the Blue Jays for years, even against us. And Jimmy's a better option than Stanek. So let's get Jimmy back in here. He'll be fine, right? We'll be good. We have hitters in our lineup. Justin Turner's great.
They made the moves at the deadline to, they're not throwing in the towel. And firing Scott is them in some ways, like, we're not throwing in the towel. We want a last season spark, or the last, end of the season spark.
It's a reassurance for sure that they're doing something at least.
Yes.
Justin Turner, 159 in his last 15 games, 211 in his last 7 games, only 2 strikeouts, 4 for 19, 2 strikeouts, 1 walk. He does what he does. He works the count. He tries to get the pitch that he needs to hit. Polanco's been really good in his last 15 games.
I've noticed.
But Randy, I'm going to look up Randy. What's up?
I was just saying, I've noticed for the last, week, Rojas has been getting screwed at the plate. He's had more balls called strikes against him than anyone else on the roster. How's that Randy split?
He's batting 160 in his last 15 games, and also 1 for his last 25, 12 strikeouts, 0.40 average in his last 7 games. So
Sick.
yeah, but I trust that he'll turn it around. He's an experienced guy. He's a streaky player. He did misread a ball in left field today that should have been caught.
Yeah, he did.
So there are things about Randy that aren't always the best, but I trust that he'll turn it around here when the energy shifts, and he'll be a big part of things, as well as Victor Robles, as well as Justin Turner. These guys are big additions to our team that are going to drive our team forward as things turn around in these next couple weeks for the Mariners.
I'm getting so antsy waiting for JP to come back.
Oh, we need him.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I thought about it today. I was like, we need the best Mariner back. Things have been out of whack for a few weeks, and best Mariner will hopefully help straighten that out.
I noticed also that JP was in the dugout today for the Mariners game.
He has been for a
yeah,
few games.
and not a lot of guys do that, and I don't even really blame them. Like if you're just injured or whatever, you can't play. Like just stay at home, rehab, whatever. Like do your own thing. But JP is still showing up and like being in the dugout. Also, when Rivas hit his walk-off single today, you want to guess who the first guy out of the dugout to give him a big old hug was?
Luke Raley.
It sure was. He had barely touched first base, and Luke Raley is running at him just like about to tackle him.
Yes, dude.
Dude, like...
Classic Luke Raley at this
Patrick
point.
called it too. We were watching the game, and he's like, look how fast Luke Raley's going to come out. And then, like, the camera starts to pan back, and Luke Raley,
he's already in there.
right into the frame, and we're like, there he is. Yeah.
And then when they showed the wide angle, like Rivas had barely touched first base, and Luke is almost halfway to him. Like he
As
is.
soon as the ball touches the ground, he's like, yep, we did it.
It was my time.
Here we go. Yeah, that's awesome.
Dan Wilson gave every single player a hug.
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
It was very cute. They're
Yeah.
doing their handshake line, handshake, hug, hug. Every single team.
Every
and then I saw Mitch Garver got one of the last ones. I was like, oh, he gets a hug too. Interesting.
So
I
PJ
forgot he was
party.
here.
So PJ parties and trust falls, or are we good? Are we don't have to do that?
Hopefully not.
You know,
Yeah. I think the handshake hug thing tonight after this win is good enough. I think that we're gonna get the vibes going that way. PJs and trust falls in the off season, but for now, handshakes and hugs, baby.
Yeah, Dan Wilson hugs every player and gives him a little kiss on the forehead. And he says, thank you. And then they go out and they play the next game.
It's a blessing from a Mariners Hall of
good
Famer.
game today.
Mwah.
But
I would gladly take
and
that.
seeing the happiness on Dan Wilson's face, like the dude, and I mean, think about it. He's spent his whole life in baseball. You get a chance to finally be a manager, and in your first ever game, you come back from a huge deficit and end up walking it off in extras. Like,
Where's Jamie Moyer at? Let's get his ass in here too.
I don't know, an old country buffet probably. That dude's older than dirt.
I know they run a foundation. There's a Jamie Moyer Foundation.
Did you know
There's
that
him and his
when
wife.
Jamie Moyer first started pitching, the Yankees' biggest rival wasn't the Red Sox, it was the Confederates?
Good one.
Thank you.
Nice, dude. That's funny. Nice. Yo, Jamie Moyer, he pitched till he was fucking 50 years old. He's a legend.
And he had an RBI single. I remember watching
Yeah.
this on Sports Center when I was way younger. But he had like an infield RBI single at like 49 years old.
For the Rockies.
For the Rockies, yes. He like just hit one into the dirt and it just like popped straight up and it had enough time for him to get to first.
Was that not in one of his last like best games ever where he like went deep?
Yeah.
Like he pitched a complete game or something too? It's insane. Yeah, Jamie Moyer had quite the career and he's one of my favorite guys. I got to get some Jamie Moyer merch, dude.
He's also given up the most home runs
Yeah.
out of any. Well, it also happens when you pitch for 97 fucking years.
Most
Like
walks maybe too.
He holds a couple records for just like most runs, most home runs,
Most homers, yeah.
And I mean, when you're throwing 72 miles per hour, a couple are going to
Sure.
get knocked out of the park. But he knew what he was doing, and he had. And I mean, his pitching style led to the longevity of his career and being able to pitch till 50 years old.
Insane.
That's the type of stuff you hear about like old-timey baseball, and you're like, oh, that would never fly today. Like, no pitcher would pitch till they're 50 now, and Jamie Moyer did it in the modern era.
Nolan
Arm's
Ryan
feeling
was
fine.
trying.
Still throwing 73.
Nolan Ryan was trying. Doesn't Nolan lead the the
Or like Nolan
in
trying.
losses because he pitched so many games. He has like the most losses, I think.
I think so. Nolan Ryan
um,
also has like 7 no-hitters and no Cy Young
More.
awards.
Yeah, and like how many one-hitters? Like 11 or 13 one-hitters
it's
and like
something like-
18 two-hitters. It's
Exactly.
insane,
Yeah,
dude.
the dude
it
was-
scales up like insane amount of complete game 1-2 hitters or less. It's
Yeah.
wild. Nolan Ryan blew his arm out against the Mariners in a game in the Kingdom.
Yeah, my dad was at that game. He said it was really, really sad seeing the
I
end
think
of.
my friend was in that. A guy I talked to down in Renton was at that game too. Yeah,
Yeah, and he said it was like really sad to see Nolan Ryan's career go out like that.
it is sad.
And like his velocity was down at that point, so like the wheels were falling off, and then it was just his arm, and then done, and yeah, it was really, really sad.
I've seen the film, and yeah, he throws a pitch and knows immediately. He throws a pitch and is like, and looks over to the dugout and like just is like, no. He just like walks off, It's just like, nah.
Yeah,
It's like that's it.
that's it.
Yeah. But it's cool. That was in like the mid 90s, man. That
Yeah.
guy pitched to like 95, 96. But crazy that it happened in the Kingdom against the Mariners. I don't know. It's kind of cool.
You guys heard anything about how often Griffey is around the team?
Should be more, but
Yeah, I
He's
don't
a
know.
baller.
Smart owner, right?
Yeah, and I feel like he's around a lot more now than he was for a really long time. It seemed like there was a time there where he just didn't really care about baseball, which is also fine. He played it, he retired.
You see
He
him
won.
with his massive camera all the time, just taking snapshots.
yeah,
of
he's
games.
casual.
Yeah.
He's more of a business owner than a hands-on,
Yeah.
fingers in, kind of like Barry Bonds and like
Sure.
Randy Johnson. He's a
Think
photographer
he wants any
too.
part of like talking to these guys, or
I don't think he wants to. I mean, I'm sure occasionally he will talk to those guys, but I don't think he makes himself available as a regular like resource.
What does Ichiro do? Is he like assistant to the
He's
regional
like
manager?
essentially. He's
Warms up, takes batting practice,
He hangs
talks
out,
to some guys.
Kicks it.
He has one of those
Does
titles.
whatever the fuck he wants.
He has one of those literal. Whoa.
There goes my microphone.
He has one of those titles that they literally just give to people. They're like special advisory consultant.
Oh, okay, cool.
So that just basically means you can show up whenever you want, and if you talk to a couple players, you're consulting the hell out of them.
Eat lunch with the guys.
Yeah, look at this special advisory consultant.
He's just a Mariners royalty, basically. He's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
yeah, come do whatever you want. Do some work, I guess, sometimes.
I wonder if they ever ask him to do anything.
I'm sure he's around
Sure,
and
can you
does
make a couple
things, yeah.
copies?
Ichiro, I know you're an espresso nerd. Please make me your special macchiato. Yeah, I don't know. Who knows, man? He might have some special advisory thing that we have no idea about. But I know he kind of goes to minor league games too, right? Like
Yeah.
hangs out at minor league games and hangs.
Just trying to get a feel for what they're gonna
Guidance.
do to really like milk the. These guys were on the Mariners too.
Oh, I
Oh,
see. No, Griffey's not coming back for that. Ichiro could be around for some of that.
Oh, I mean, for next year, for 2025, reliving the 95 season, Griffey will be around.
Oh yeah, they'll get the whole gang
Just making
together.
appearances, waving at fans, and being like,
Will
"Ah, I
Tino
showed up."
Martinez be back around?
I know,
I
I'd-
like Tino.
I'd love to see Jamie.
Cause
Joey Cora.
just every Mariner.
Yeah.
No, 95 though. Yeah, Joey Cora.
I found out.
Rob Ducey. I don't know.
Oh my God, Luis. Oh God, what's his name?
Robert Jr.
No.
Soho.
Luis Soho. That's who I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Luis Soho.
He was our shortstop.
Luis.
Also was a
Luis
Yankee,
Soho.
but yeah, Luis
Yeah.
Soho.
That's a good one.
Dude, so in 2001, everyone remembers all these guys, right? Who was our left fielder in 2001?
Randy Wynn.
No,
I don't know.
close. Stan Javier. Stan the man Javier.
Stan Javier.
Someone asked me that recently, and they're like, "Who's our left fielder?" Because we've always had that blank, that black hole of a left field where
Yeah.
it's constantly rotating. Milton Bradley and shit, right?
Oh my god!
But dude, Stan
Casper Wells.
Javier had such a long career, and he was a legend. Actually, he was good in left field.
Stan Javier still has the
Great bat.
Still has the coolest catch I've ever seen in person. The leap over the wall, and it hit the tip of his glove, and he flipped it back in, landed on his back, and caught it. That was the craziest. That was the craziest catch I've ever seen
Amazing.
in person.
Stan the man Javier.
But the 95 stuff. You know what? Let our nostalgia be for 2024 when we hired Dan Wilson and we won a bunch of games and made the playoffs.
Please.
Also, the umpire was so damn atrocious in tonight's game.
The scorecard's going to be excellent.
The umpire
Laz?
scorecard is going to be insane. I'm not sure who it was,
I'll get
but
it.
it was awful. It was one of the worst umped games I've ever seen. I'm really excited to see the ump scorecard tomorrow.
Yeah, me too.
However, I thought it would be so funny if Dan Wilson got ejected in his very first game as a manager.
He wouldn't.
But what's funny is the umpire was literally so dog shit for both sides. No one even argued because it wasn't even worth it. The Giants didn't argue. None of their players argued. Coaches didn't argue. They were just like, I don't know what can fix this. We're just going to have to ride this game out.
Nothing
and
I tell him is going to
It's
benefit anybody.
Yeah,
so fuck it.
But it was one of the worst ump games I've ever seen.
There
It's
was
been
one
a long
pitch.
time since I've seen something this atrocious.
It was very bad.
Yeah, and we harp on that pretty often too, so that's saying something.
Yeah.
But yeah, Laz Diaz, that's who it was. Yep, Laz. He was awful. Yeah.
It was Laz
There-
behind the plate today?
Yep.
Oh.
And there was one pitch where apparently one of the Rogers brothers was like palms up, like, dude. And even it was Gary Hill and
Flowers.
Goldsmith.
Goldsmith on the radio. They were having fun. It was a good night for them. They were kind of keeping things light and fluffy because of what's going on, and it was good to have them together in the booth. They were having fun, but they were explaining, like, one of the Rogers brothers was like palms up, like, what? Where is? They're like, that was one of the most strikes of all the pitches you could see tonight, and I guess I don't know. He called it a ball.
I mean, he was calling balls, strikes, balls, and if you like,
They were harping on him hard on the radio.
and if you talk to any baseball player, it doesn't even matter like what level. It could be, kid pitch, like 13-year-olds, but like 13-year-olds all the way to the pros. Any baseball player will tell you they can handle a shitty umpire if their zone is consistent. If you know he's calling 4 inches outside, he's going to call it a strike, then you know to work around that. You can make adjustments to the zone. That was the thing with this umpire. There was no consistency. A pitch could hit a spot 6 times. 3 times it's a ball, 3 times it's a strike. There was no rhyme or reason to it. It was insane.
Bad day for Laz, dude.
It was very bad. And yeah, absolutely no consistency. And it wasn't like, oh, he's missing the lows and insides. It was up, down, left, right.
I heard up and outside
It was up
corner
and out
for
for the
sure.
most part.
Yeah. Those calls
But
were
he was
shaky.
missing down and in, and what was it? Rivas, I think in one of Rivas's at bats, was easily struck out on a strike just right on the corner. I mean, it like fully caught the corner and he looks out, ball.
It's like, all right.
Okay, we'll take it, but-
yeah,
no.
dude, there was some bad calls for sure.
Bro, a full baseball and a half width outside the zone.
Ugh.
It's like, no shot, man.
We got away with some. They got away with
yeah,
some.
Oh
It
yeah,
was for both
no one
sides.
benefited and no one like came out lesser of it because it was so. And I guess in a way, it makes the game balanced. If you never know what is going to be a strike or a ball, you're just like, hell if I know. He doesn't know.
Sure.
Just throwing a little bit of chaos into the game.
Hey,
But
where's
hey.
the bone?
Yeah, where's the bone? We
I
need
used
Jay.
to run into that dude at Costco when I was a kid.
I think he lives in Texas.
Yeah.
That
They
makes
talk
sense.
about him traveling
right,
up
right.
here
Yeah,
and
we talked
stuff.
about that. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a Freedom Texas guy. Drives his big trucks in Texas.
Yeah.
Tell him the bones sent you.
I always loved Jay Buhner, but I don't know. Who knows what he's really like? But the last time we heard him, he was at the stadium bursting into the booth, being all like, "Hey guys," it was mid-inning, like he wasn't supposed to go in there yet.
Funny.
He's like, "Hey, remember when you guys told me not to come back here anymore because I didn't understand the most basics of analytics and you guys fired me? Well, I'm back, baby, and I'm telling you, the bone sent me."
He did have a lot of energy.
That was Buhner
Jeez.
Buzz
All
night.
right, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so funny.
Well, he'll be around more next year. 95
saying.
nostalgia.
Yep.
We're gonna have
30
A-Rod
years.
around. A-Rod's gonna kick it around the stadium.
That's not happening.
please,
That,
please,
oh
no.
my God, no way. I don't think that guy's wanted in any stadium.
Maybe just for one day.
Not even in New York.
If
like-
they do national coverage, he might be there for like the. But yeah, no thanks.
Yeah, I'm okay with never seeing A-Rod again.
Payrod.
Yeah.
Boo. $252 million fucking. Ugh.
And what's crazy is like nowadays that contract isn't even that insane. I mean, it's still, even by today's baseball contract, that's still a hefty
It
contract.
set a record.
But
at the time.
at that time, that was, no one had ever had a contract like that in sports.
True.
Like,
Yeah, that was the
it's-
highest contract in any sport at the time, I believe.
Yeah, the 252 million.
Look at Shohei Ohtani. Oh my God, this dude. What a legend.
So-
Anyway,
Yeah.
So we've got coming up, we've got 2 more with the Giants.
that's right.
We're gonna leapfrog the Angels here, and we're playing the Rays,
Yeah, these guys.
and then the Angels. Which, I mean, who gives a shit about the Angels? I do not care. But we got to win those games. Tampa Bay is kind of a fun team.
Randy better hit a homer against Tampa Bay. He better. He has to, right?
He's going to.
Good.
Let's hope that today's game 1, and we like to stay on the positive side of things.
Sometimes.
But, well, I mean, it takes
We
a
try.
lot for us to really get in the nitty, like gritty, and like down in the dumps. And last week we were.
I've
I
been
love
feeling
those
pretty
ones.
worn down. You guys had a great episode last week. Kept it light and funny as down as we. I mean, we had to talk a lot of shit. You guys.
I mean,
talked
there
a
was
lot
there
of
was
shit.
nothing good to talk
It was
about.
all
We had
complaining.
one.
I agree
mean,
with most of the things you said. Everything you said. I didn't disagree once. And you made me laugh and kept it light. So you're right. We're doing our best here.
But that being said, it's hard for us not to be optimistic, despite how pessimistic we should be.
Oh my God. I mean, I obviously hate the front office and like our ownership for not fucking building a good team. Like it's on that, dude. I'm pissed. I'm honestly pissed that it came to the point of like firing Scott Servais. I'm not happy,
Right.
But like where we are and what we have right ahead of us right now is that's where we are. We do this every week and we react on a weekly basis, right? It all builds up and we can make it through these last few weeks and surge and have some excitement and make this something.
Let's go beyond those last few weeks. Let's keep going into October.
Let's make it happen. And that's what we're here for, boys. We're here to make it happen.
Yep, us.
Yeah.
We're here to help the Mariners win games.
We say things and the Mariners play baseball. All right. Anyway, yeah, the Mariners are going to surge ahead. I feel it. And
I just don't want us to get too excited
We
over.
won't, don't worry.
I mean,
feel it.
I'm pretty excited over this one win. Dan Wilson,
Me
I
too.
like the change. I like that Dan Wilson got a walk-off extra innings win in the first game of his coaching career. It's all exciting stuff. And, it's easy with the Mariners to let the doom and gloom consume you. Bars. But you can't. They play 162 games. It's not over till the final out of a game that they are mathematically eliminated, and that's not going to even that. It would be almost
We got
another
a
month.
couple weeks left.
Our starting
Few weeks.
pitching is enough to keep us in every single game that we play. Like that's one thing that we can hang our hats on. That's the backbone of our team. Every day our starting pitching goes out there and gives us one of the best performances in the entire league. Back to back to back to back to back days because we have 5 starters who can do it. So, I mean, if we can rely on that, as long as the bats heat up, then we're going to be there. And that's what we've been saying all season. But this is the time where they have to prove it the most. This is it.
I mean, we're on the home stretch.
Slide under that garage door.
All of these games matter just as much, but these ones matter more.
Yeah,
You know.
exactly.
Let's go out and win tomorrow.
Let's do it. Let's sweep the Giants. Let's not lose a game for the rest of the season.
Blake Snell,
just win.
Robbie Ray, here we come.
You guys are falling apart. We got to get out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you all so much for listening. There is still stuff to be excited about. We like the moves that are being made, and the Mariners are, it's not over till it's over. Let's keep winning games, and hopefully we'll be back next week with more good news. Thank you all, and go Mariners!